what you thought you knew from the shed of dreams, the Leake in Review.
Hey, welcome back to the program. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all the shares, the likes, the comments. Lots of love. Loving that. Who doesn't like a little bit of love every once in a while? Today's guests on the program are Graham and James from the rock and roll outfit known as Yukon Blonde. Friendship Rock and Roll is the new release from the band. We're going to chat about everything Yukon Blonde. Get ready for that. Graham and James join us in just a bit. This just came across my feed and I thought I should pass it along just in case you haven't heard of it yet. You probably have because you're smarter than most. David Bowie has this gigantic box set coming out. It's called David Bowie 6, I Can't Give Everything Away, 2002 to 2016. The box set is going to have the following. This is pretty cool. It's got remastered versions of Heathen, Reality, The Next Day, and Black Star, a Reality Tour live album, The Next Day Extra, and No Plan EP, a previously unreleased 31-track live set from Montreux Jazz Festival, Recall 6 compilation with 41 rare non-album tracks, and a 128-page hardcover book with photos, essays, and memorabilia. You can get it on 13 CDs, plus all the digital formats that are out there. Or you can get the vinyl. That will be 18 pieces if you want to pick that up. The price? A mere $650. Find it at Warner Music Canada's store if you want to place that order. Operator standing by. Please have your credit card ready. Graham and James from Yukon Blonde are coming up on the Leake in Review in just a bit.
Where there's a heartbeat and a stage, there's an artist set to perform. This is the Leake in Review on tour.
On Tour brought to you by the Pecan Agency, connecting the bands with fans worldwide. We've got Graham and James coming in from Yukon Blonde. Why don't we give their tour dates? Friendship Rock and Roll Tour starts September 18 in Kelowna, BC, runs through Nelson, Calgary, Red Deer, finds its way to Windsor and London in Southern Ontario. Dates basically all over the place, but jumping back and forth with further dates taking them right through Saskatchewan, Edmonton, and Fernie in mid-October. I check in with Graham and James from Yukon Blonde on the Leake in Review right after this.
Hi, my name is Kim Stockwood. I am a proud Newfoundlander and a Canadian singer-songwriter. In a landscape where many lack access to health benefits or employee assistance programs, the Unison Fund serves as a lifeline of hope for musicians and music industry professionals facing medical emergencies or mental health challenges. To learn more about Unison and their programs, please visit unisonfund.ca.
Everyone is on the mic. Yukon Blonde has a new album. Here we are.
Certainly. Absolutely. We're rolling right now?
If you didn't think...
We're rolling? It's just like that, hey?
Wow.
Just kind of...
Very efficient.
Yeah. Just no net, just going.
It's a lot like judo. We can dance around for 5 minutes or we can get right at it and just finish off the match. Or maybe it's not like judo.
I appreciate that level of intensity.
Do you think Yukon Blonde would be releasing Friendship Rock and Roll today had you not made the move from Kelowna to Vancouver?
I can't answer that question.
We could reframe the question. What if you hadn't moved from Manchester to Canada? From England to Canada?
I think we can reframe it again. I don't think we'd be making it if we hadn't been making music for this long together as friends, playing rock and roll. I think that's the kind of crux of the message, is that because it's insane being in a band for as long as we've been in a band, and the fact that we're still doing it, and you have to be pretty into hanging out.
That's something that I think most bands don't realize until they've actually released something and then like, oh my, we don't like each other. And now we have to be with each other every single day. You've all been with bands before.
Yeah.
They're weird, interesting, intricate relationships.
Well, it's a strange thing to spend your time doing, because it's at once it's like a passion, a thing that you get into because I don't even really know the reasons people start playing music. I've thought about it a lot. You know, it's a strange thing to like learn an instrument ostensibly by yourself and then feel, it's like puberty, you know, and then like feel the need to meet other people to do it. Like those like first times you like want to meet a girl or a partner and you don't really know why you're doing it. You're just kind of like some kind of death drive's making you do it. And then you start playing music with people and, I think then, yeah, dysfunctionality can appear. Surviving dysfunctionality is a different thing, but ultimately we sort of thrive in that environment, I think. We don't all get on all the time. I mean, it's pretty weird.
Well, I think
It's
like,
family, you know.
you need a little domestic every once in a while just so you can set the boundaries.
I've never seen you. I wasn't there when you slapped Jeff. There's only been one physical.
I think it was the other. Oh yeah.
Oh no,
It was
he
the other way
slapped you.
around.
Yeah. There's only been one physical altercation. You were dressed like a caveman.
Yeah, it was Halloween in New Orleans. Yeah.
What year was this?
I think this is probably like 2012.
Okay,
Or
so the
something.
band
Quite
has
a
been
long time
around,
ago.
but the band has been around. They've been together for
Well,
a few weeks.
Him and Jeff
Well,
basically have known each other since
High school, since
Right.
grade 12.
which is like
Jeff
3
and I.
years ago, as you can see.
Yeah, of course.
Well, and to go back to what you were saying about the idea of getting into a band and to make a go of it and that, there's extra.
Learn a trade. That's
Well,
what I
there's-
would say.
But you can't know, none of your neighbors, none of your family can relate to it. So you're constantly explaining it to them by and large. Whereas if we all got a job at the grocery store,
Sure.
everyone would be like, "Oh, that makes sense." You know,
I was explaining it to a guy in the airport yesterday. It's a very common story. You speak to someone who sees you with an instrument and then they ask you if you play covers.
Yeah, mostly covers or
you play your
got
own
originals
tunes.
or
Yeah, exactly.
as strange as it is to say, there's a lot more easy money.
Oh, of
playing
course.
covers.
Or just money at all.
Right.
You know.
You don't have to front anything to go play covers in a club, but to be a band that's touring, you're fronting money nonstop, putting
yeah.
out the album, getting into the studio, putting gas, like it's nonstop.
And when you're doing covers, you know, you're already you got a bona fide hit behind
True.
you already. So it's
You know
built
what
in.
works.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We should try it, actually. Maybe that's the problem.
Well, I'm sure
Could be.
what was the band name before Yukon Blonde?
We don't need to go there, do we?
I trust that there was some covers.
I mean, it was like,
You've
I
been
think it was,
reading-
I
you've
think
been
it was
reading-
like 20 years ago.
I've been reading on Wikipedia.
I've got the internet at home.
Yeah. You've got it at home.
There's always a before. It's like the idea of, it's my high school sweetheart. We got married and all that stuff. Yeah, but you were also with 3 other people before that. So bands are the same way. You didn't just start writing songs. You started, we learned how to cover Brown Eyed Girl or whatever it was.
I think Jeff and I originally started just jamming in front of like a party and whatnot. And just, I don't know. Eventually the songs came over the years, but once Brandon came into the mix and
Was this a scheduled jam or was there just happened to be 2 guitars and
we
you
would
said,
just
hey,
show up with drums, bass, and a guitar at a friend's party and
In Kelowna?
and we would just just have a good time, see what would come out.
Well, let's talk then about, you make the decision though about going to Vancouver. Vancouver has changed a lot over the years. It used to,
You lived there.
I did for
Really?
for 3/4 of a minute. And there was a real good vibe.
1 hot minute.
Yeah, there's a good vibe, but now it's changed, a lot. It doesn't seem to have that same sort of, it definitely doesn't have the grit that it used to, maybe in some neighborhoods.
Sure.
It's tough. It's a tough venue to play in, is it not?
I mean, I don't know what our relationship with it's like after living there for so long. We're getting up there. We're sort of elder statesmen, and you don't spend quite as much time treading the boards, of clubs and things like that. But I think that there seems to be, at least these days, quite a thriving community of younger bands. It's just a different community to ours, maybe, but there seems to be a lot of bands, and people have sort of made the best they can in a place that's potentially quite unaffordable and doesn't really have many spaces to formal spaces to create art in, for sure. I think it's really hard for bands that aren't established like us to like get a jam space and, you know, play, you know, come up, play shows. We're quite fortunate in that when we play, like, people come, you know,
Right.
there's a, you know, to some extent, like a crowd that's followed us for a long time. But yeah, it's a different city to when we were there, but also like prior to me joining the band like 12 years ago or something, I always thought of you guys as more of, you were always out in Toronto too. So you've never really been like a Vancouver thing. Yeah. You were always scattered and moving around.
Well, a few of us lived here for a few years, like, I don't know, 10.
And the labels here. So. And
yeah.
Was that,
it's definitely more of like a second home for a long time.
But is that not a thing though, you know, a big part of any band's development, I don't believe, no matter what level you are. You know, it's great that you have your established audience and you can sell out these rooms in Vancouver. There's that, you don't get to see something all the time because there isn't all these new young bands in those smaller venues in your neighborhood. Like, it's something that might give you some new inspirations, can also be difficult for a band like Yukon Blonde.
Bran, like, he works at a great venue, like, which DIY. Is very DIY space, and it seems to be a lot coming out of there that's cool. And I think it's also prudent when you've been playing music for as long as we have to not lose your enthusiasm for why you did it in the first place. It's important to go to stuff and see stuff for the reasons that you said, like to feel, to, you know, maintain that optimism for rock and roll and the reasons that you started doing it in the first place, which is it can kind of save your life, you know, a good song.
I was talking to Johnny Van Zant from the band Lynyrd Skynyrd.
They're good. They did pretty good. You know, well, not all of them, but some of them didn't do too good.
But the music probably saved the band. And he said...
The plane didn't.
Time and time again, the music saved the band. And still getting to do it today. You joined the band 12 years ago.
Something like that.
Let's talk about when you first started doing albums 15 years ago even. Are we at 15 now?
Longer, I think.
Maybe longer now.
Friendship Rock and Roll, a lot has changed in the studios too, where you went from we have to be in a studio and now people want to just record it in their kitchen.
Well, we were pretty...
technology has changed so much,
which
I'm not sure I agree with.
Well, we were pretty smart on that one. It's maybe one of the only smart things we've ever done was that we kind of invested in ourselves when there was a bit more money for us to do that. You know, we record our own records. We have a studio, you know, so it's not a bedroom studio. But, you know, so we all go in studios a lot still, but we don't record our records in them because we have our own, you know. So I think that was pretty prudent of us in like an age of declining returns. And I think that like people, I mean, the thing is, there's so much great music does get made in informal spaces. I don't know if you can do rock and roll necessarily without, well, you can because like the Stooges would have or something, but it benefits us, you know, having like vertically integrating, you know, our setup so we can record ourselves. But I think that I suppose like it's a double-edged sword because I doubt that Mick Jagger like ever cared about what microphone he was using. You know what I mean? And I think that some people like, you know, who have the ability to make music themselves in you know, rooms of their own, like maybe care a little bit too much about the technical side of it and forget that it's all about sex and danger or vibe, you know?
I've heard that from bands where they have their own studios and they toil away for days and days and days and days. Whereas if you had a studio that you were renting,
they need a producer.
You'd be in and out in 8 hours.
The money thing, I mean, that's
your daily rate, etc. Yeah,
that makes a difference. I think that, like, you know, when certainly when we were coming up, it's like, you would practice. You didn't have any money, so you would like practice the songs to death to be able to get them done. I mean, you can't record their first, like in a day or something, 2 days.
Yeah, 2 days, something like that.
Yeah, and even Tiger Talk was like a week.
Mm-hmm.
It was only, you know, after a few records that we started. And we did experience that, you know, being like getting lost in your own, you know, Susan Rogers, who produced Prince. Well, she didn't produce Prince. Prince produced Prince. She was his engineer. she speaks to this like it's very, very erudite, very smart woman about like the restrictions on recording benefiting the song. It's like how he managed to get so many, I mean, he's an outlier, but how he managed to get so many albums made so quickly is that there was 24 tracks. It was set up. It was the same instruments all the time. If the song was done in a day, if it didn't sound good, it was an arrangement problem. They just do it the next day. They didn't have like an unlimited supply of tracks. They couldn't be like, maybe we should try a French horn on this one. You know, they had to make the song.
And also, when you're bringing it into your studio, it's your studio, you might be really great at guitar and be able to hammer out licks, but there's that figuring out all the vibes and the dials and the everything in a studio also takes a lot more time to learn.
Sure.
Because it's not your original, it's not the thing that you've been doing for 20 years.
No.
And it just stretches things out, but can be a good.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. And you have to be a nerd. I mean, the hard part's the song bit. Really, the rest you can learn in school.
You're saying the hard part is getting that song completed, ready to record.
Well, just writing a good song, you know. I think that like the rest, you know, nerds, like, you know, we're nerdy and you can learn how to record in a school. You know, you can't really learn how to make a song in a school, I don't think.
So I know a lot of bands that
You have to live it.
they hate social media
Mm-hmm.
for all the reasons that everybody knows. It's
Sure.
Are you a band that would say there's part of the studio that you also hate because it's such a labor compared to when you're on stage?
Sure.
You get on stage, it's like getting shot out of a cannon. You're all of a sudden in the air, and this is where you're gonna, you know how the show is gonna end, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're in it, but a studio for some people it can be such a labor. You got one person trying to lay down tracks, and it could be taking half a day, and the rest of the band is kind of sitting there going, God damn it,
We've
Graham.
definitely done that.
You know?
Yeah.
That's why you have video games.
Yeah, that's why I have video games. Well, I guess, I don't know. Sometimes when you press that record button, you have that same feeling of like adrenaline that you're on stage. You know, it's like it's live. You're recording. So if you can capture that in a few takes, then that's great.
And that's the tricky bit, right? I think.
Yeah.
Because it can get laborious for sure, what you're saying.
Yeah, if you're sitting there, you're on your 27th guitar take
Staring
or
at a
whatever,
screen.
That's tough for the rest of the band.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the first ones are live. It's like an audience. Like you are out on stage.
Yeah,
like,
try and
I
think
got
of it
this.
like that for sure.
But you also, and you also like learn through experience. I mean, we've always, we've never been the most cohesive aesthetically as a band. We've always kind of like gone on little side quests, I think they say on the internet. So like, that's fun sometimes in a studio, but it can be, and having your own, this was quite a deliberate, like intentional record that we made to kind of counter what you're saying, which is like, you can just get stuck in there, for ages. And we've done that for sure.
Said, just go into the studio. Let's be loose.
Let's write the tunes, really formally together. And
in a jam
space, like we would when we were younger. You just come back. It's like this, like a Roberus. You come back to that thing, and you're like, "Let's do it the way we used to do it." Like a kind of midlife crisis.
When you take the album Friendship Rock and Roll, and there's tour dates coming up all across Canada this fall, you produce the album, you listen to it again, and you go, "All right, now we got to figure out how to play these ones live again." Or because you wrote them kind of as a jam,
it's easy as pie.
It's the way to go.
Because
right?
we did it that way.
Yeah.
Whereas before,
It would be more complicated.
Those old records, like you said, we would have to sit there and figure out how to
retrofit these things to a live environment. This one's been so much easier.
I know of a band who they're a 2-piece and they did loops and stuff for this album, and
they should find some friends.
But they were recording everything live on stage, putting in these loops and putting in the clicks and the beats and all this thing. And it would take probably 3 minutes to sort of establish the song before they even got into it. And I talked to the band after. I said, "Will you ever do that again?" And it was absolutely not. It was a great idea on paper.
Yeah.
But it's a challenge to bring that into a live room. And a live room, they have expectancies. They're like, "Hey, I came here for a good time." And it seems like
you look scared on stage.
Yeah, the band looked confused. There was a mic issue.
And if things go wrong, you're toast in that situation.
What's the most wrong Yukon Blonde has had on stage? My favorite still is a band who blew one artist. It was a solo thing. He blew out 3 strings
That's horrible.
on an acoustic, and
Yeah.
but it made it so endearing because he just kept on powering through. And
I've had a couple kick pedals break on me, which
It's
is
not too bad.
It's
It's bad for you.
It's pretty bad for me. Like when you don't have a
why do they have
kick
just a
drum.
string? Why is it just a string that is holding that kick pedal together?
I don't know. Shame on them.
8-cent string on a $200 kick pedal.
I saw these guys play a show before I was in the band where the power went out on the entire stage. This is with their old bass player, John. And I thought it was so cool because you kept, Graham knows the story, he was there. But they kept playing, they kept jamming on stage. Real rock and roll, real sign of a good band. And then when the power came back on, it was like resplendent in the audience. Everyone was fired up. And I was really jealous because I was in a different band and I wanted to be in their band because I was like, my band would have had no idea what to do. We'd have got into a fight with each other or something. And
just escaped the room, panicked.
yeah, full panic, yeah.
What would you say Yukon Blonde is good at today on the road?
Drinking,
What do
we're
you
pretty
think
good at
needs?
that.
So what needs a little bit of work?
Not
Drinking.
The music.
Yeah.
Yeah, the drinking needs work, yeah. Well, we didn't have a shot of tequila last night. I thought that was a win. We got offered it and we said, got to do a podcast.
With
And
Leake.
With Leake.
And is there that problem where it's like, we did take yesterday off, so now it's a make good?
100%.
All we have to do is fly
Leave the-
tomorrow. So
Leave the bottle.
Well, I know the first thing I said to our manager when we got here was, where are we going after the show?
And now, because half the band has spent years here,
Yeah,
they have haunts. And you've got pals who are
there's haunts.
every guest listed person is
I mean,
like,
you're normally with us, let's be honest.
I don't want to be brought into your tequila fantasy.
Well, you might be my tequila fantasy.
Yukon Blonde, Friendship Rock and Roll
Yeah.
is the new release. Graham, James, thanks for doing this,
Dude,
guys.
thanks very much. It's always really
Pleasure.
nice to see you.
Now forget everything that you thought you knew from the shadow.